Good evening. Welcome to the Township Committee meeting of February 10th. Adequate and electronic notice of the February 10th, 2022 Township Committee meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and by posting the notice and agenda on the meeting on the bulletin board of the municipal building located at 1000 Route 10 in Whippany, and by posting notice on the Township's website, hanovertownship.com, by emailing the notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, the Hanover Eagle, and by filing the same with the Township Clerk. Ms. DeGiorgio, would you please take a roll call?
Committeeman Cahill.
Here.
Committeeman Francioli.
Here.
Committeeman Gallagher.
Here.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Here.
And Mayor Fairmuska.
Here.
5 members in attendance.
Thank you so much. Please rise, all of you who can, the Pledge of Allegiance, and remain standing for a prayer, and remain standing thereafter that. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we ask you to bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Hanover Township. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for a special moment of silence. Hanover Township lost one of its long-term employees, an incredible individual, served this township in a stellar manner as our assistant business administrator, Robin Dente. We please ask you all to say a silent prayer in her memory. Okay.
Mayor, why don't you comment on her service arrangements?
Yes, that would be very appropriate. Krista, do we have the details on the service arrangement? Joe's going to take us through that. Yeah, it's going to be on Saturday, but Mr. Giorgio is going to give us the specifics on the services, the memorial services for Robin Dente.
Robin, there will be a viewing for Robin at the Leonardus Memorial Funeral Home, which is located on Ridgedale Avenue in Florham Park. The viewing will be between 11:30 and 1:30 p.m. Following that, there will be a half-hour prayer service between 1:30 and 2 p.m. And the family asks, and the funeral home asks, that everyone come with a face mask. So those are the arrangements, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's proceed with the minutes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our first order of business is the approval of the reorganization meeting minutes of January 6th and the regular meeting minutes of January 13th. May I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda, we have the public hearing and adoption of ordinances 1-2022, 2-2022, and 3-2022. Proof of publication that all 3 ordinances and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the January 19th issue of the Daily Record in accordance with law. I would also like to note for the record that ordinance numbers 2 and 3 are both land use and development legislation ordinances, and these 2 ordinances were sent to the planning board for referral and review as required by the municipal land use law. We do have letters from the planning board recommending that these 2 ordinances be adopted this evening by the governing body. We also will note for the record that both ordinances were filed with the Morris County Planning and Development Office as required by the municipal land use law. At this time, may I have a motion to convene a public hearing on these 3 ordinances?
Motion. Second.
At this time, if there's a member of the public
I'm sorry, yeah.
who would like to address the Township Committee on these 3 ordinances, please do so by coming up to the podium, stating your name and address.
Jim Neidhart, 3414 Appleton Way, Whippany.
Good evening.
I'd like to talk real briefly just about ordinance 1-2022, which is the recreation administration and pool fees. Could I give you a handout quick?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Having been a long-term resident of Hanover since, I think, 1980, I spent many, many years at the Bee Meadow Pool with my family, and then after the kids grew, we left, we stopped going to the pool.
Okay, sure.
2 years ago, when COVID hit, and I couldn't use my condo pool, I joined the Bee Meadow Pool, and last year I was very pleased to see that you guys offer a very nice discount for seniors, since I'm now a senior. The current resident senior couple rate is $230, and since I am part of a senior couple, have been for the last 13 years, some of you may have probably know my girlfriend, I joined. The prior year I joined by myself, and she has some time off once in a while. She probably come like 5 times the whole year, so I wanted her to join also. So I went and I submitted my money, my $230 for one person, being 65 years old, and the other person, I was told the age doesn't matter. And then I got a call shortly after that saying that I needed to submit proof of residency. So I brought my residency and her residency, since we each own a condo in town, and I was told that we're not a senior couple by their definition, even though there's no sign of that anywhere in their materials. So I was told that I would have to pay the single, I'm using this year's numbers, I don't know what last year's numbers was, I didn't look that up. But I was told that I had to pay the resident senior single rate of $155 for myself, and the resident single rate of $265 for my girlfriend, my significant other, for a total of $420. And I expressed my concern about that with both the person that heads up recreation as well as Mr. Quirk. And I didn't get a lot of sympathy, but they did say that they would bring that to the recreation commissioners. And then a week later, I got a call saying that they could not do that. And I asked why, and they told me it was basically budgetary reasons, that they have very tight budgets and they needed the money. I said, well, fine, give me my check back, and I'll register as a single senior. So they lost $75. I like the idea that they give a nice senior discount, but I just don't think it's equitable for somebody that truly is a senior couple not to get that rate, to be penalized $190 for the privilege of paying property taxes on not one property, but 2. So the town gets 2 property taxes out of us because we each own a unit. We just choose not to, cohabitate in one location. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that I don't think that that's very equitable, and I don't think the Recreation Commission has looked at that in a fair way, considering that the township gets twice the taxes from 2 people. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention before you voted on this, because having served on boards here in town, I know that, we are very diligent in reading our materials, but I don't think anybody studies a chart like this. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that there is some inequity in that, probably something nobody really thought about, and everybody just goes along, because they copy last year's and then just up it by 3% or whatever. So you should know that I personally don't think that that's very fair.
Well, thank you, Jim. No, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. I see exactly what you're saying, and to be honest, you're kind of a quirk.
I am.
That situation hasn't come up much, and, we do our best to try to cover all bases. I see there's a resident 2 person, which is only $330. which would still save you, $330, which is up top if you went that route. But I'll bring it up to him, and I'll talk to him about it. And again, what is the definition of a resident senior couple? And I see you have written here, one person 65 years plus. I don't know that there is even a definition of what a couple is. I guess maybe they assume that they're both over 65. But I'll look into that and find out.
Well, I bring that up because the younger population, people in their 20s and 30s, they don't get married at the same rate the previous people did. And with so many people getting divorced, when people become seniors, they don't necessarily get married. They don't necessarily cohabitate. There are a number of couples I know that live separately. I found it rather disturbing because when they asked for the proof of residency, I brought in my 2 children's wedding invitations from like 9 years ago and 5 years ago and showed it addressed to my address with both my name and my girlfriend's name on the envelope.
Right.
And I gave them copies of all that. And to not make an exception, I know it's a quirk,
Yeah.
but...
It
no
is a
pun
quirk,
intended.
and I also want to point out, it is a self-funding entity, so your tax dollars don't go towards this,
I understand
it
that,
is
but
self-funding.
you guys are signing off on this tonight, and you guys
Yeah.
have to approve it, so I
Yeah.
want you to know what you're approving.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mr.
Tim.
Neidhart. I'd also ask Mr. Samrau to look into...
You don't want to keep that?
What is the definition of a household? Because in parentheses at the top of this table, there are these words, same household. So let's check into that as Mr. Mahalko checks back with Recreation. Let's also get an answer as the definition of a household.
Understood.
And senior couple.
Well, again,
What's a couple? Is it somebody that's married, or is it somebody that cohabitates, or both, or neither?
but then you can take it to the next, what if I have a friend who's a senior also, and now we're going to, and you live in separate places, and you're trying to get the benefit of one as opposed to the other.
That's
again,
probably why they...
You're
made
a
the
quirky
decision.
situation right there,
But,
Jim. Yeah.
When you show wedding invitations with both people's name on it from 9 years ago and 5 years ago, it's like, okay. Anyway, just wanted to bring it to attention. I'm not
Thank you.
complaining or anything, just you should know
Thank you,
about
Mr.
it.
Thanks, Tim.
Neidhart. Is there any other member of the public who'd like to address the Township Committee at this time? Please do so by stating your name and address at the podium. Okay, seeing none, I'd like to get a motion to close this portion of the meeting.
So
Make
moved.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, so now on adoption as a consent agenda, may I have a motion to adopt these 3 ordinances?
Motion? Second?
And on roll call, Committeeman Cahill,
Yes.
Committeeman Francioli,
Aye.
Committeeman Gallagher.
Aye.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Yes.
And Mayor Vermaska.
Aye.
So adopted. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have 3 ordinances for introduction. I'd like to read each title into the record, please. Ordinance 4-2022. An ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover amending and supplementing Section 267-42 entitled Schedule 12, Trucks over certain weights excluded under Chapter 267 of the Code of the Township of Hanover entitled Vehicles and Traffic, with the inclusion of Malpartis Road in the Cedar Knoll section of the township from Ridgedale Avenue to Hanover Township Morris Plains corporate line. The second is ordinance number 5-2022, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover in the County of Morris, in the state of New Jersey, authorizing the acquisition and installation of artificial synthetic turf to be installed at the Brickyard Athletic Field and retaining the services of a professional engineering firm for the purpose of performing wetland permitting and, if necessary, engineering and design services related to the installation of the artificial synthetic turf and the further authorization, the appropriation of $1 million from the Township's 2022 Capital Improvement Fund and all prior years from the financing of the turf project described herein. The last one is ordinance number 6-2022, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover authorizing a 1% increase in the appropriation limit of the Township's calendar year 2022 current fund budget and further establishing a cap bank, all in accordance with NJSA 40A:4-45.14. I would like to state for the record that each of the ordinances and their notices of introduction will be published in full in the Daily Record in accordance with the law. The public hearing is scheduled for March 10th, 2022 at 7 p.m. If any member of the public would like to speak regarding these ordinances, they will be given the opportunity to do so that evening. May I have a motion to introduce ordinances 4, 5, and 6 as a consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
And on roll call, Committeeman Cahill.
Aye.
Committeeman Francioli.
Aye.
Committeeman Gallagher.
Aye.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Yes.
And Mayor Farah.
Yes,
So introduced.
okay.
Our next order of business is the approval of resolutions as a consent agenda. Resolutions number 38-2022 through 45-2022. Does any member of the Township Committee have any questions regarding any of the resolutions?
I'll move they be approved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And last on the agenda, we have the payment of bills. There was a last-minute addition to and the correct amount is $8,809,941. May I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion that Mr. Esposito pay the bills for the township.
And a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, we have raffle applications as a consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions regarding those?
Move they be approved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mayor Farah and the members of the Township Committee, that clears the agenda. Thank you.
And we thank our clerk, Ms. DeGiorgio, very much for running a very efficient meeting. Okay, at this time, may I get a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, if there's a member of the public that would like to address the Township Committee, please do so by stating your name and address at the podium.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Terry Baird. I live at 180 Parsippany Road in the Whippany section of Hanover, if you don't know that already. I have been contacted by several members of the community in reference that live in the surrounding area of River Park. And they received a 200-foot buffer notification for DEP permits. And the letter that was sent by Bowman to them doesn't say anything. It's like Seinfeld's show about nothing, and it says like a letter about nothing. It just simply refers the people to basically have to come to town hall to see what it is. And, they would have to take time off from work. I don't really know if the municipal building is open, that they can just come in and see whatever this DEP report stuff is. Or they have the other option is they could drive to Trenton and see it there, which is, these are rather, in this day and age, I think rather old-fashioned. Some old-fashioned stuff is good, but this is sort of like, makes things difficult, hurdles that people have to, jump over, and it really isn't necessary. So what I did is in the letter, it had James Woods' phone number, so I spoke to him, and that was last Monday. And then James said that by Thursday, because he was going down to Trenton, he said he didn't really see a problem with River Park giving permission to have something perhaps posted on the town website about it that would be like written in layman's terms so that people would understand what's going on next door, because they're asking me. I said, I don't know, it could be sludge pond, could be rerouting the river, it could be removing the dam, or it could be, working on the embankment on the county property. I'm just guessing, So he said he didn't think there would be a problem with it. Then he told me to call Bill Hamilton, which I did towards the end of the week. And I spoke with Bill yesterday, and he said that they can't do anything, that it would have to come from the town to request to them, although they would be very amenable to it, but they can't contact the town. So I was trying not to bother Mr. Giorgio with so I thought I would go the other route, but in reality, I should have just probably emailed you. But my request would be that something be put on the website, about what it is. I asked him how large the document is, and I said, is it measured in inches or feet? And he says it's measured in feet. But he did say that they would provide the cloud space for it. So that's...
Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. We will ask Mr. Giorgio to investigate this because we believe in transparency. This is an important matter, especially if people are being noticed on it, that they at least have an understanding as to what it is and don't have to drive to Trenton to see it.
Right.
That's only reasonable.
You would think, in this day and age, but you would think it would be like a normal requirement now, the way, the things go nowadays, but it's at the good graces of the town, and you have been very transparent in doing a lot of stuff on the website. And, a lot of people compliment the website because it does have a lot of information on it. You go to other towns' websites, man, you can't find anything, but your website is improving dramatically. I mean, it's skyrocketing.
Thank you.
Okay, that's one thing.
Just one comment.
Was that a compliment?
Yeah.
A compliment on a
I actually
website?
compliment,
He gives credit to when credit is due.
Yeah, I give credit where credit's due. And now my other issue, this is an issue, is the water company. I don't see, like, when I go to the water company's website and try to find out who is our representative for the town, I can't tell. I've gone through every page. I have looked at your assignments, every TC's assignment. I can't tell who of you has, the connection to the water authority.
When you find out, tell me, because I'm supposed to be that liaison. But apparently, the water company, in their bylaws for the township's liaison person, will not accept an elected official to partake in the water company. It has to be through, Mr. Mayor, our two delegates?
Representatives. We have
Which
two
presently
representatives.
is, now Adolf Schimpf just retired. Joe, who's?
One is Mr. Marucci, Nicholas Marucci, and the second one is a new person that just came on, Mr. Karakafi, and he was approved at the January 6th reorganization meeting.
Okay, so I should be able to find their emails on the...
I would think their website should have a listing of all the different municipalities that are part of the Water Authority, should have the names and contact information for those representatives.
You would think.
I would think. I would think too. I agree with you.
And because I would like to either be able to speak with them, or like maybe they could come here and give like a report or something to know what's going on with them.
The Township Committee plans on having these representatives come in and address us quarterly at our work session meeting, which is normally the second meeting of the month.
Yeah,
Okay.
Miss Cummings was put on notice about that back in November, late November, early December by me, that the Township Committee wanted quarterly meetings with the representatives and herself, and to keep the presentations very concise, not very long, but enough to give the information to the governing body and the members of the public on the most important features of capital improvement and budget. So I will make sure to talk to Ms. Cummings again.
Okay, and was that when she was here in that meeting and made the presentation when she didn't take the notes? But you said you would take notes for
That
her.
was the
Thank you.
November 11th meeting, yes.
Right,
I
okay.
remember it well, Terry, yes. But
Okay,
I
just
have to say,
checking.
in speaking with Laura, she did have all of the information in order to respond to the Township Committee. So
Okay.
I was pleased about that.
Okay, so I look forward to seeing these in the future because,
But one comment about the wetland applications. I've been in this business for a long time, and I have to tell you, I'm just amazed about how the verbiage in these wetland applications don't really give you a synopsis or summation of what the project is all about. And I think consultants just follow what the regulation calls for.
Right.
Very bureaucratic regulations. But I also have to say that communication is a two-way street. So if someone from the developer wanted to put something on the website, they can call me anytime.
I gave him the opportunity,
Thank you, Terry. I know you
and
would.
it wasn't taken, and it has 20 days from the time of that they got the letter.
That's right. So the
Which the
clock is
clock
ticking.
ticked already, I think.
I was going to ask, when is the comment deadline? Because, I mean, if you post it after the deadline is passed, it's not going to do much.
It's 20 days from, it doesn't even say receipt of the letter, it says date of the letter. I can, if I look at my phone, I can find the picture of the letter.
I would think it's
and
going to be
I can give you
soon,
that
Blaze.
date.
Okay, yeah.
But, yeah.
It may be running out time.
I know, that's why I started this last Monday. I mean, this is a week and a half in, it took me this long to get that information
I will
back and
I will
forth.
contact the principal of River Park and ask him to have his consultants prepare something for our website.
Yeah, because I specifically asked something that was in layman's terms to explain to the residents, local residents there, what, what was going on, and, because otherwise people don't know, and then there's a lot of misinformation that gets spilled about. And, that's unnecessary, and it's unnecessary stress for the residents in the area. And they contacted me, so I felt responsible to
Thank you, Terry.
dig into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who would like to address the Township Committee at this time? Please do so by stating your name and address.
Jim Neidhart, 3414 Appleton Way, Whippany. Just two quick topics, they're just comments, no questions. The first one is, as a resident of the Eden Lane condo properties, and also as president of the condo association representing 298 unit owners, we have a lot of interest in the River Park development. And as the president, I felt I wanted to attend the EDAC meeting, the recent EDAC meeting, where Tom Steigen from River Park presented to them the plans, and I thought he did an outstanding job. I took a lot of screen captures of the presentation and a lot of notes with the plan of sharing that information with our residents on our next open board meeting towards the end of February. And then I was thinking that Tom did such a good job, I decided to call him up and ask him if he would attend our meeting and present it himself. And I just want you all to know that he was very helpful, and he said it would be his pleasure. So I was very happy to hear that. He's a genuinely nice guy who's trying to, I think, be a good community member. And just the fact that he would take an evening or part of the evening to do that, I thought was pretty nice. And also, if any member of any one member of the committee would like to attend that meeting, just let me know, since he is going to be presenting to our residents. I don't know how many will be on the call, but we got a lot of interest.
When is that scheduled for?
February 24th. It's a Thursday, I believe,
Thank you.
at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And his portion's only going to be the first 15 minutes of the meeting. But if anybody, has an interest and wants to be on there, perhaps to answer questions that he can't answer, it'll just be his presentation. I'll give a foreword to warn them that this is not to complain or to, voice your opposition to it or anything like that. It's strictly for informational purposes. But I'm thinking there could be some questions that he might get asked that are more appropriate for a township committee person to answer than him. I don't want to put him in a position to try to answer a question that isn't his purvey. So anyway,
That is a meeting night.
It's unfortunate that we have, as Committeeman Mahalko said, we have a special conference meeting, an information session dealing with the traffic situation up at
right.
Cedar Knolls.
Right. I more want to just let you know that he was just very welcoming and cooperative and wanted to do it. He thanked me for the opportunity to do it, so that was very nice. The second thing is I've had the great pleasure of serving on the Board of Adjustment for the last 8 years, and I wanted to thank each and every committee member for appointing me to the Planning Board, and I just want you to know that I look at that as a distinct honor and a pleasure, and I know how important that board is, so just want to thank you for that.
We look forward to your contributions to the planning board.
Yeah, well, Mr. Mayor, just to piggyback something on, since River Park seems to be the topic of interest, the cooperation that we're getting from Mr. Sagan through the mayor and through our administrator, as everyone knows, the dam is coming down. Department of Dams and the DEP have been urging us to take that down for I don't know how many years now. So it's on its way. But with it goes a piece of history, so we wanted to salvage that. So the recommendation to Mr. Sagan was that he keeps the ironwork and the sluice, some other things, and that maybe he could find a park-like setting on the site and put a memorial up to it.
Great idea. We do have an update on that. Mr. Giorgio can provide us an update.
Might be the time.
The historical significance of ironworks in this municipality goes back 300 years. And, you know, we have an opportunity to preserve the integrity of that iron and to use it in a setting that people can reflect upon it from a historical value. So, Mr. Giorgio, our
Thank you,
business
Mayor.
administrator, reached out.
I spoke to Tom Stegan on Monday. He's very amenable to the idea. In fact, he has an idea to do something about the history of Hanover Township along the Riverwalk that he's going to create along the Whippany River. So the iron from the slough and from the dam would be a part of that, and he wants to discuss that in more detail with the township.
Fantastic. It's great development.
I believe Deputy Mayor, as a matter of fact, has also reached out to him to discuss a little bit about some of the historical background on the Riverwalk.
You know, I'm going to just piggyback on what Jim said. He's an incredible human being. He's made it clear from day one that he wants to be part of this community. We've had a lot of different ideas we've gone back and forth with him on. He obviously cares about us. He doesn't want to just come in, build something and run. There's a lot of different conversations going on right now. Some of them I can't discuss, but we're very happy about it. It really feels like we have a partner, and I think it's going to be an ongoing, very healthy relationship.
Great.
And Jim, we can't be at your meeting because, again, we do, but if there's anything that you'd like to share with us as the president, please share it with Joe, and Joe will share it with all of us, because it is all hands on deck.
I will see if I can record it. I'm not sure, because it's a open meeting for the community, but it's closed to outsiders. But this portion we're opening up, so I'll just check with the other board members. If we
thank
can
you.
record it, I can give you an access
That would
to
be
that
great.
portion of the
That would
meeting.
be
Thank
great.
you.
Okay. All right. Any other member of the public who would like to address the Township Committee at this time? Then please do so by stating your name and address at the podium. Seeing none, hearing none, I'd like to get a motion to close this portion of our meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. At this time, if there's a member of the committee who would like to cite a brief comment, this would be appropriate. And brief is in capitals, okay? So at this time, we'll begin on the left side with Committeeman Kale.
It's like I'm the one that runs on during these things, right?
No, only kidding.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I will be brief. And first thing I want to say is just to give my condolences and respects to the Dente family. I had the privilege of I've only had the privilege of knowing her for roughly 4 years when I started here on the committee. And yes, without a doubt, she was a wonderful person. I remember her helping with things, everything from the softball, the township softball games, to as far as helping to write, actually, in all honesty, writing articles, in my name for historical magazines and that sort of thing. And just always very, very helpful. Never a bad word about anyone. She will truly, truly be missed. So I'll just leave it at that. And then the only thing I have to mention on the calendar that's important is we do have on February 19th, the fire district elections. Both elections will be held on the 19th, a Saturday, between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m., longer if necessary. The District 3 will take place at Cedar Knolls Firehouse. The District 2 election will take place at the Whippany Firehouse. With regard to Cedar Knolls, of course, we'll be voting on a budget, but there are also 4 commissioner spots open, 2 each for the 3-year terms, 1 for a 2-year term that is unexpired, and the last one for a 1-year term, so 4 seats in total. Again, the details for the Whippany Fire District are the same, Whippany Firehouse 2 to 9, In that, it's the fire budget vote, as well as there are two commission seats open at this time that'll be available, and I believe those are both for 3-year terms.
Great, thank
That's
you.
all.
Thank you, Committeeman Kale. Committeeman Mahalka.
Thank you, Mr. Faramasca.
What he said.
I will keep it brief. I'll do the best I can. We got a lot going on. There's always a lot going on. As we saw, we had
Got a hot corner over there.
That's right. We're always moving in recreation. Substance awareness has been very active also. Let me start with substance awareness. Excuse me. Back in December, they had put on a couple programs at Memorial Junior School, and they were so popular they were actually asked to come back. And the topics were cannabis and vaping, and also the mental health of the children, too. So again, it was very popular. They've been working very hard. There's a lot that they've been trying to fight back against. And then they're also putting on a couple programs up at Whippany Park High School also. So again, kudos to those people for all that they're doing and keeping up the good work. Just real quick, as we come out of hibernation, the spring is coming. Gentlemen, mark your calendars. April 9th, we have hopping down the bunny trail at Malapartis Park. We'll do an Easter event there, and as things get closer, we'll give you the more times. We also have opening day for Little League is going to be on April 23rd, and then we're going to bring back our fishing contest at Malapartis Pond on April 30th. So again, just a couple things that are coming up. We've already set up our schedule for the summer. Our concerts are coming, traveling team camps opening up, family entertainment nights, Hanover Township Day, just always a lot of stuff going on. And one more thing I want to point out, one of the ordinances that we put out this evening, introduced, was for turfing the Brickyard Field. It needs to be done. It's a beautiful field, but when it rains, it is so soggy. It can rain, and then 2 or 3 days later, we still can't play on it. It needs to be turfed. And for the demand that's coming, that we already have, for all of our fields in town, it's important that we have this turf field. And it's not just a football field. It's multi-purpose. Soccer, lacrosse, football, everything can get played on this, and it'll be lined for it appropriately. So we'll get a lot more use out of that field, which is desperately needed. And we're in desperate needs of fields. We had a record number of turn-away permits for the spring already, or we anticipate it. There's a lot of internal and external clubs and teams that want to use our facilities. So keep that in the back of your mind. But
Thank you, Committeeman Mahalka. Committeeman Francioli.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just once again, we'll try to keep with being brief. Board of Health met this past Wednesday evening. Certainly the discussion remained on Omicron and its effect on the township, but I'm so pleased to tell you that we've all heard the governor now has, as of March 7th, relaxed the mask uses in our school. Dr. Perez, our officer of our Board of Health, has met with Superintendent Wasco. A letter has gone out to the parents of all that will be going over the options that they have. Some parents may still want the use of a mask, and some parents still might want the use of the plexi shields as well. Others may not. That's their choice. And we're very pleased over that. We're looking into one aspect that's federal, and that is the children who are riding the school buses. That comes under federal ordinances, regulations, as to whether or not they have to have masks on while in the school buses. Well, it seems to me it's a little redundancy there. They're not going to allow masks in schools, then why have the children have to tolerate it in the school buses? But that be the case, we're looking into that as well. But otherwise, we're very pleased with that outcome. Senior citizens are still meeting via telecommunications. The next meeting is coming up next Wednesday, the 16th, and they have not had any planned events or any other types of programs due to this several years of COVID that we have, but I've got to congratulate Ken Oxley and the officers. They do their very best at putting together means of keeping the group socialized and together, whether it's through telecommunications and whether or not it's through some Zoom. So they seem to be doing very well there. A shout out very quickly, I don't really need to Brian Ferran in the Public Works Department, who through these icy cold mornings, you've woken up to salted streets or plowed areas. He's doing a yeoman job with what he has. So we compliment all of the gentlemen there as well. That's what I've got for now. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, and we all acknowledge the special effort that's been done during these terrible ice storms that we've been getting. Okay, Deputy Mayor.
I think I might be the quickest. I just want to say that I'm very, very sorry about the loss of Robin. And Joe, especially with you, I spoke to you yesterday. She was an incredible human being. She really was a super, super person, beautiful human being. So Joe, I'm sorry because how much I care about you, and you were very broken up yesterday. And God bless her and her family. What a beautiful person. We have too many activities and too many important events coming up to list now. But what I will say is they will be in the paper, they will be on the website, and we will share them on social media. Very, very important work. From mental health to all different very good activities with law enforcement. And there's a lot going on with the other initiatives in town, such as the Whippany River, the flooding, and the remediation of some of the flooding problems we've had, and a long-term true fix. That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, just a reminder, the Township's annual budget work session takes place this Saturday, Saturday the 12th at 8:30 a.m. Our CFO and our business administrator have been working diligently on this, and the Township committees and its various departments have been participating. So it's deliberative, ongoing work, and we will be seeing much of the presentations on Saturday, and it's open to the public at 8:30 a.m. Okay? And at this time, I'd like to invite our business administrator, Mr. Giorgio, to share some of his commentary about the loss of Robin Dente.
Thank you, Mayor. As the Deputy Mayor pointed out, yesterday was a traumatic day for, I think, all the employees of Hanover Township. Yesterday morning at about 7:30 p.m., 7:30 a.m., I received the shocking news that Robin had passed on. Robin was a very compassionate, exceptional person. She had a good heart. Not only was she intellectual, knowledgeable in municipal government, but she was a true friend, not only to me, but I think to all the employees of Hanover Township. There was never a time, whenever someone was in need of something, Robin would always bend backwards to help whoever it was, no matter what time of day or night. She's a great loss, not only to me, but the Township of Hanover. Robin and I started working in 1992, 29 years. We're not only colleagues, professionals, but dear friends. So, as the Deputy Mayor pointed out, yesterday was a very hard day for me. And for all the employees. A lot of tears were shed yesterday, and I think will be for days to come. So I would ask, say some prayers in memory of Robin. Think of the good soul, the good person that she was. And as I said in my little eulogy yesterday to all the employees, I think she was called to heaven to give advice to the good Lord on some of the problems we face here in the universe, because she was so exceptional in giving good advice, not only to me, but to everyone she touched. So God bless Robin, and I thank you for the opportunity to share these thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. At this time, I'd like to get a motion to close this portion of our meeting and resume the prior portion of our meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Back to work on the original part of the meeting.